Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Elite Weather Forecasting. My name is Mr. G. I am your student meteorologist here with the weather forecast coming up for your Friday and Saturday. So we are finishing up your work week, get you ready for the first half of the weekend. And let's take a look at our weather forecast. But first, let's talk about the city of the day. And I'm standing in front of the most important thing about our city of the day, and that is going to be Duluth, Minnesota. Yes, the beautiful city of Duluth out there where it's 58 degrees under mostly cloudy skies right now as we are coming into our evening hours. You see the lovely lift bridge out there, historical landmark out there. It's the tallest thing you can see out there if you're in Duluth and you're coming down off the hill on our 35 out there. And Duluth is made famous because of the ore that's mined in the area in the Iron Range, and the ore gets shipped out through the rest of the Great Lakes through our port in Duluth. So there it is, the beautiful city of Duluth. It's a wonderful place. I love it. One of my favorite places here in the state of Minnesota. But let's move on with this weather forecast as we talk about a couple of things right now. And we have our upper air pattern that we're going to be looking at. We got some troughing in the west, and that troughing is going to bring cooler weather across the Pacific Northwest and a persistent onshore flow. So we're going to be starting to get those low clouds and fog down in Southern California and cooler temperatures as it has shut off that offshore flow. We have a couple of fires that are burning, and that onshore flow will help to the firefighters was trying to extinguish those fires out there across Southern California right now. And we see a little bit of energy coming into the Pacific Northwest today. That's going to add a little bit of rainfall out towards the Seattle area and down into Portland and through the Cascades. And we might actually see a few snowflakes across the higher elevations of the Cascades, and we'll go deeper into that later on in the forecast. And here we are as we look at our main event here through the central and northern plains in the upper Mississippi Valley. So through primarily Minnesota, Iowa, the Dakotas, and into Wisconsin, we're seeing this piece of energy here as cyclogenesis kicks in. It's going to pick up a little bit of strength and intensify as it starts to head off towards it into the Canadian provinces. But it's going to come a little bit south as it heads off to the east, and it's going to skirt the northern sections of the Northeast and the New England states. So we'll be dealing with that storm system later on through the end of the weekend and early next week, as it's going to take quite a bit of time to move through the upper plains and the Mississippi Valley up there through Minnesota and Wisconsin. It's going to take a couple of days to rotate on through, and it's not very well organized here, so we're going to see a little bit of organization. But as it came over the Rockies, it was a lot of things going on there. Very dynamic and kind of complex system. Multiple fronts involved, as well as several troughs and short waves of low pressure. So a lot of little pieces of energy rotating around of our closed low that's going to be moving off through the northern plains and the upper Mississippi Valley. We have high pressure down across the southeast, which is kind of helping to energize this situation because it's injected that southerly flow into that storm. So we're seeing that influx of some warmer air and some moisture as well coming up off of the Gulf of Mexico because of this area right here. So we're seeing a little bit of an increase in some Gulf Mexico moisture from over the state of Texas and through the plain states and up into the upper Mississippi Valley. The Northeast, we have some troughing going on, so we're going to continue to see dry weather, but cooler weather as well, as that fall is setting in. So we're seeing those leaves already changing color in some of those New England states. We're already seeing some orange and red leaves out there. It's not quite yet peak, but it's definitely getting started with some of those fall colors through portions of the Northeast and into Canada out there. Here we are as we have to talk about the tropics right now, because we do have a tropical storm in play that's going to make an impact for some folks out there, especially down across the Caribbean islands. We have tropical storm Fiona out here, and it's currently moving through the Leeward Islands, headed towards Puerto Rico eventually here. So we have tropical storm warnings in place from Puerto Rico and through the Leeward Islands out here through in the Caribbean Sea. And it's going to take a little bit of thinking of the track. Let's take a look at the track of tropical storm Fiona. Now it's expected to remain a tropical storm, not anticipating it to hit hurricane strength. And part of that reason is going to be interacting with a lot of land as it moves off to the west, northwest here. So it's going to move over the Leeward Islands, it's going to move over Puerto Rico, and eventually might skirt the Dominican Republic and the island of Cuba there. So we're going to see it, and eventually the Bahamas. So a lot of folks are going to be dealing with this storm. Thankfully, it's only a tropical storm and it's not a hurricane yet. But with all of that land that it's going to cross over, it's going to kind of interfere with further intensification of this storm system. So there we have it, tropical storm Fiona. And right now its winds are about 55 miles per hour out there, so it's not a very strong tropical storm. I think it only achieved tropical storm status either late last night or early this morning. So that guy is going to slowly move on off toward the north and west as we head into Sunday. So by the time we get to Monday, it's just going to be approaching the eastern end of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. So we're going to be keeping all eyes on tropical storm Fiona. But as you can see, it's anticipated and expected to be downgraded to a tropical depression. I don't see that it's going to achieve hurricane. But what it could be interesting is once it moves out back over more open waters, it can intensify and reach hurricane intensity finally after it clears the Bahamas. I think it's going to move just to the east of the Bahamas, but like Grand Bahama Island may not have to deal with it, but some of the outer laying islands might get brushed by some of the winds and rain bands from Tropical Storm Fiona. So here we are as we talk about our 2-day weather forecast, and we have that high pressure down here across the southeast, and that is going to kind of act as a barrier to block the tropical storms from affecting the southeast. And this frontal boundary here that we have right here across the state of Florida, just going out over the Atlantic out there, and that's going to be keeping systems from affecting the southeast. Because if you didn't have this front here and you have this flow, this clockwise flow around this area of high pressure, that southerly wind on this side can actually steer tropical storms towards Florida and keep it on a more southerly track, and can actually bring it into the southeast and to Florida. But this frontal boundary here is kind of circumvent that and create a lot of shear and change the direction of the wind patterns out here. So it's going to deflect Tropical Storm Fiona to the north and east there. So this guy, and we've seen these frontal boundaries be pretty persistent across the southeast during the course of the summer, which is one of the reasons why we haven't seen much in the way of tropical storm development affecting the southeastern U.S. because conditions have not permitted it to do so. So that is a look at your southeastern area, but we do have our complex storm system across the northern plains through Minnesota. We have this area of low pressure here and a warm front off to the east, a warm and occluded front here, and we have a cold front down through the northern plains that extends back towards the high plains of Montana and up to the Canadian border. And this guy is going to be having a lot of wet weather associated with it, some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We're going to see numerous waves of showers and storms moving through the state of Minnesota, through Wisconsin, also down through Iowa and to portions of Missouri. We have Kansas, northwestern Oklahoma, North and South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, Utah, Idaho, even portions of Nevada, southeastern Oregon, far north, northeastern California, and northwestern Nevada. So very large areas being affected by the storm system as it moves across. There's a lot of pieces to this guy here. So we have this front here. There are several troughs also and short waves that are kind of trailing behind it. So we're going to be seeing that activity. So a very unsettled weather pattern across the northern half of the nation. And we even have a few snowflakes through portions of Idaho, Colorado, as well as through Utah and through Wyoming and Montana. So we can see some snow at the higher elevations. We're talking about 9,000 feet. We can see some snowflakes on the highest mountaintops out there. So we're going to take a better look at that as we move through the forecast. So dry weather across the southwest through New Mexico and Arizona, as well as through the state of California for the most part, with the exception of that little corner in the far northeastern section of California there. We could see maybe a shower or thunderstorms associated with this northern tier weather system, and mostly dry weather across the Pacific Northwest. But there is another frontal boundary coming on shore there, as you can see, another wave of cooling temperatures and some showers through the Pacific Northwest. So Seattle and Portland can see some rainfall, and we can also see a few snowflakes in the higher elevations of the Cascade Mountains for your Friday as well. Here we are with your Saturday weather forecast. That weather system across the Pacific Northwest moves a little bit further on shore, kind of spreads its influence a little bit more. We're going to see rain through eastern Wyoming and Oregon, and some more snow for the higher elevations of the Cascade Mountain Range. No showers and storms are going to extend through the northern and central Rockies as well, and we can see some more snowflakes fly through Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming for your Saturday as well. So, and more showers and thunderstorms are going to continue through the plains and into Minnesota, Illinois, and portions of the Midwest out here. So we're going to be seeing those showers and thunderstorms associated with that upper level weather system across the upper Mississippi Valley and the northern plains. So it has a very wide influence. It's casting a wide net, so we can see some scattered showers and storms, and even some isolated severe weather in this region as well as we move through the day on your Saturday. But as we look at the eastern half of the nation, mostly dry conditions, with the exception of far southern Georgia, the state of Florida, as we have this frontal boundary in place that's very old front that just refuses to say uncle, but it is very weak out there. Not much difference between either side of the front, but it's just enough out there, and it's going to instigate some showers along the Gulf Coast and parts of southern Texas for your Saturday as well, and the state of Florida. Dry weather for the most part into the northeast, but the extreme far northern New England states could be seeing some rainfall as that storm system across the northern tier of the nation begins to send a front that way and can spread some rain showers through extreme northern Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and far upstate New York for your Saturday. So that is a look at our 2-day weather forecast. Here is our temperatures. Our warm spot in the nation is going to be right here across the central and southern plains and into Texas, where we're going to see those temperatures in the 80s and 90s, and that is going to spread to the east as well through the Midwest and into the south. We're going to see those temperatures in the 80s and in the 90s. All the way down through the state of Florida, we're going to be seeing cooler weather in the northeast, those 60s and 70s to the northeast. We're going to start to see 80s at about the mid-Atlantic. So south of the D.C. area, we're going to start to see those 80s. Also, we're going to see temperatures rise a little bit across the Great Lakes and the upper Mississippi Valley here as we hit that warm air advection ahead of that approaching storm system that's moving in from the west out there. So we're going to see those temperatures come up into the lower 80s across the upper Midwest for your Friday and in your Saturday. That cooler weather, we see it out there across the northern Rockies and the Pacific Northwest. We're seeing those 50s and 60s out there and 70s in the lower elevations. And we're seeing our 90s across the desert southwest out there. But very nice weather across LA, Orange County, and San Diego. We're seeing those temperatures in the 70s on the far west coast out there. And here we are as we take a look at the temperatures for your Saturday. That warm weather will continue through the plain states, those 80s and 90s down into Texas and the deep south and through parts of the Midwest as well. Those temperatures in the 80s and lower 90s as you go to the south. That cooler weather is going to remain in place for the most part in the northeast as we see those temperatures in the 70s out here in the Northeast and those 70s across the northern plains and the upper Mississippi Valley. We're going to start to see things cool down a little bit and start to see some 60s out there as our frontal boundary finally passes to the east. So we're going to see cooler weather across the upper tier of the nation for your Saturday as well. And cooler weather out toward the west. We're seeing that cool down across the Cascade Mountain Range in the Pacific Northwest and Seattle and Portland. We're seeing those temperatures going to be in the 60s out there, while mostly 70s across the entire state of California, except save the extreme eastern deserts where we're going to see those 80s and 90s for your Saturday. Here is a look at the storm system across the upper Mississippi Valley through Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas. We're also looking at the state of Nebraska and Iowa. So we're seeing that storm. This is going to be through your day Friday and into Saturday. And we're seeing our rotation out here. This is where our spin is in the atmosphere, our center of circulation out there that's going to be moving across the northern plains. Then we're going to have our warm front lifted north right here, and we're going to see those showers around the showers and storms on Saturday morning through the Twin Cities. So if you're in the Twin Cities, you might see that round of showers during the mid-morning and early afternoon on Saturday, and we're going to see another area of showers and storms develop down here around the Iowa and Missouri border. So if you're down here through the southern portions of Iowa and northern Missouri, you're going to see a round of showers and storms move through that area as well. And outside of that, we're going to have a few scattered spotty showers and storms throughout the upper Mississippi Valley. So that is going to be our wet spot. And check this out. This is going to be snow. This is the state of Wyoming. This is going to be for your Friday into Saturday. This is about 2 to 3 inches of snow in that region, in that part of Wyoming. So that west central Wyoming, we're going to see some measurable snow in the mountains out there. So that is a look at that snow. Wow, we're talking about snow already. We're not even halfway through. We're just barely halfway through the month of September. So that is a look. That'll do it for this weather forecast. That's all I have for today, guys. And I will be back this weekend and give you another weather forecast. And we're also going to have a live show as well. So I'm going to have that on Facebook and YouTube. So guys, come and check that out. I will send notifications if you're a subscriber. And also TikTok. I am 3 subscribers or followers away from 1,000 followers on TikTok where we can have live streams. So go ahead, check out the TikTok channel. The link is going to be in the description for this video. Go ahead and check that out and follow me as well on TikTok if you want your little short 2-minute weather forecast every single day of the week. All right, that's it, guys. See you guys later. Bye-bye. Peace.